walk straight through hell with a smile.
You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke.
Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. Are you ever gonna know if you never even try?
Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're
Sitting in the Hall of Fame, and the world's gonna know your name. 'Cause you burn with the bright flame, and the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion, be a champion.
Right. You could be sitting in the Hall of Fame and the world will know your name. Good evening and welcome to Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Lexis Bill. Really glad to be on your radio this evening, and I'm grateful that you chose us this evening to spend time with us. Well, this next hour will be worth your while because I've got an amazing brother in the studio where we get to know a bit more about him. You know how Personality Profile goes. Yeah, we get to learn their journey and pick a few nuggets from it as well. They're doing amazing in their field, and you get to know a bit more about it. Well, just so you know, this video is live on our Facebook page. You can join us via video. You're probably in your car listening now and you're wondering, how do I keep up when I get home? Don't worry, just switch to your phone, get on Facebook, get to the Joy FM page. You can join in via video. You can share with your friends and family as well so they can join in this conversation. Let's set the ball rolling. This evening I have an amazing brother. Like I said earlier, he's an astute business leader who has for the past 18 years built and led teams that have significantly advanced the landscape of African trade, payment systems, and fintech talent development. Visionary leader and entrepreneur from Ghana, recognized for his profound impact in the fintech and global payment sectors across Africa. His expertise is to guide banks, insurance companies, and central banks through digital transformation. His company provides innovative fintech solutions that enhance operational efficiency, reduce costs, and expand markets access for financial service providers across Africa. He also champions entrepreneurship through the Ghana Innovation Hub, which I'm sure you've heard about. He co-founded that, offering mentorship, tools, and funding to nurture early-stage companies. He was recently appointed Global Ambassador for the 3i Africa Summit, seeking to foster collaboration among policymakers, fintech innovators, and financial service providers to advance a unified African market. Yeah, he's a founder and CEO of BlueSPACE Africa Technologies here in Ghana and the UAE, BlueSPACE Financial Cloud, and BlueSPACE Innovation Hub. Mr. Samuel Amanor. Sam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Welcome, brother. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. It's
You're
raining. It's been
looking
raining.
really good.
Really? Wow. I was
see-
going to say something. I showered today, so I'm looking fresh. I
Oh,
guess.
you did? Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah.
But it looks like you spend a lot of time at the gym nowadays, brother. I mean,
I've been hearing that, man. But no, nothing.
but no. So what's this from? Just good genes?
Just
Or
good genes,
dogs?
you know. Yeah. I'll say a little push-up here and there.
Yeah.
Some
yeah.
kinky, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I love
Oh, I
my
didn't know
kinky,
that
man.
bit.
Yeah, I love my kinky. Yeah.
Ah, there you
It's
go.
It's got a nice balance of, carbs and
Yeah.
a little, liquor here and there.
Just filling that suit up.
I know. Now I'm shy. Now I'm very, very shy.
Charlie, so glad to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
excited about all the things that you're doing. I think the last big news item I heard about you was when you were launching this digital insurance package.
Yes.
That was
Yeah,
just a
the
few
Be
months ago,
Insured.
right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Be
Be
Insured,
Insured. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what was that about?
Well, I mean, we took a stance to power the whole AFTA initiative.
Yeah.
And we looked at the first aspect of it is logistics.
Okay.
Right. And logistics basically means people are moving goods and services from one point to the other.
Right.
And insurance seems to be the least innovated sector. So we said, okay, why don't we start in the domestic market? Digitize insurance delivery, make sure, if you're a truck driver, Uber driver, you could quickly go on star 170
Yeah.
and access insurance from any of your favorite brands.
Yeah.
So we partnered with MTN, we partnered with CalBank. They are basically the approved liquidity holder
Yeah.
to make sure, because we're not a bank, right? So they have to hold liquidity. And then we were very fortunate to have about 70% of the market say yes to us.
Oh, right.
So the enterprise, the Danwells, the Glyco, the Sanlams, they've all joined. Hollad, they've all
Yeah.
joined, basically fully integrated to make sure that anyone can easily access
their
insurance.
policies.
Yeah, basically, right?
Okay.
As well as claims.
Yeah.
So if you
Okay.
have an accident and you need to file a claim, you don't have
Yeah.
to really go to the hassle of,
Yeah.
trying to find how to, file it. So right on your USSD.
On your phone, you can
On your
do
phone,
that.
yeah, very, very simple. And
You
then
don't
what
even
we've
need
done,
internet access.
well, if you don't have internet access, that
Yeah.
service is available,
The
right?
USSD. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
What was interesting is before the service came up, we traveled around the country, just understanding the way people transact digitally, and you realize most people only use the mobile money service for cash in and cash out, transfer of services.
Yeah.
I think loans has come about as well. People use it for accessing loans, the
Yeah.
quick loans or things
Okay.
like that. My insurance has been very, very minimal. I mean, others have done life insurance and things like that, but auto insurance is very difficult to put on USSD. So we've
Okay.
been working on this for almost 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we're very fortunate to get the support of the stakeholders to make it happen.
Good stuff. Congrats. That's great.
Thank
I
you,
saw the
thank
news
you,
item
thank you.
and I was like, okay, that's impressive. And especially at a time when everybody is trying to help, boost up in insurance penetration.
Yeah, I think Ghana is almost, 2.5%, 3%?
And that's pretty low.
Yeah, very low.
Very
I mean, with the advent of AFTA, things like insurance will go up,
Yeah.
right? I think the MIC has done a good job by consolidating the auto database to make it easy for people. I think the police can even prove whether you're insured or not
Yes.
in traffic and
yes.
things like that.
But
yeah.
then aside, what has been keeping you busy?
Oh, man. So, running a company is not easy. It's not easy at all. We've been trying to bring both innovation and then talent development, because one of the things we've struggled with getting talent and getting
Really?
the talent to stay, right? Because currently you live in a global market, so you have Ghanaians living here but working offshore,
Okay.
right? So that competitive landscape means you have to work hard to retain your talents, right?
Hold up. So you mentioned two things: getting the talent
Yeah.
and getting them to stay.
Correct.
Now, initially, when you started talking, I actually thought you were speaking about that in the context of Ghana. But it looks like
it's a Ghana issue.
It's a Ghana issue.
But it's an African issue as well, right? Because
Right.
if you look at the pay scale between a tech guy who's working in Ghana, that same skill set transported to the West pays more,
Okay.
right? So there has to be an incentive for a African tech entrepreneur or tech talent to stay within their market,
Okay.
right? Which means the employer has to pay well.
Yeah.
They have to be well incentivized, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to do continuous learning. So you have to have the resources to keep upskilling these talents
Yeah.
to match the demands of the market.
Of the market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But does Ghana really have enough talent?
Obviously, you need to do a very deep, study of all the demands. But what I can say is most of the projects that we've been exposed to, you're competing with international talent, mostly from India, right? Especially in the financial.
Mostly from India.
Yes.
How so?
I mean, financial services is quite complicated. It's regulated, right? And you have to have had an experience playing with the tools that financial service providers use, right? Today, you have access to WhatsApp. Everybody uses WhatsApp. So if you want to learn WhatsApp and the back end of WhatsApp, it's very much available. But if you've never seen core banking software or insurance policy administration software, you pretty much will learn theory in university when you study computer science. You never touch such a segment in a practical way, right? So the only way you have access is if you work with the tool. So you have quite a number of, tier 1 banks. You have your tier 2 banks as well. Now, there's no labs for these young talents to go and play with, right? So their first chance of really coming close to banking technology, financial technology, is when they get hired.
Oh.
Right? So there's no opportunity for them to practice or learn ahead of that. So that makes the number of talents, the talent pool, very small.
And that's what Indians have over us?
Well, they do, because in university, they've made it clear that the job market is seeking for such category of talents.
Okay.
So start training them. So they're taking courses like SAP, in how SAP is being used in managing financial operations within manufacturing services. Also, they started training their young people to work for America, right? Outsourcing.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's very strategic, right? So they basically know that there's demand in the West.
Okay.
So the demand suggests you have to train people for what the market needs, not what the legacy curriculums are designed for. Because learners are basically future workforce.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want to satisfy the labor market, then you have to sort of adjust. Obviously, there's some fundamentals you need to know.
Yeah.
But then there has to be bespoke, intentional planning to fulfill the demands of the labor market.
Right.
Exactly, right? Because if the labor market is seeking for more AI entrepreneurs, and in your whole 4 years of computer science, you've never had an experience with AI, you come out and be irrelevant. Yes. So our curriculum and our learning strategies, our development strategies have to align with what the labor market is seeking for. So in India's case, they planned way ahead to be the number one target for the U.S. labor demands. They also followed up with the H-1B visa program, right? So to make sure that the transportation of those talents into the U.S. is pretty much easy, right?
Yeah.
With AFTA, a Nigerian talent could easily move to Ghana, or a South African talent could easily move to Ghana to work.
Okay.
Right? That means Ghana would be a good destination if we have the visa programs and all of that. In some markets like Portugal, you have the nomad visa programs.
Right.
In our innovation programs, we're looking at things like that. We started, exchanging. We came up with something called the BlueSPACE Innovation Exchange.
Okay.
For example, taking startups from Ghana to the West, to the European market, to say, hey, these are good IP. We need to export it. So not only are you exporting cocoa and gold, but you can now export IP from Ghana to the EU market. An example is a startup who finished a MEST program and then joined our cohort, Copianto AI. So they were making conversational AI. We exported them there. They joined the Shark Tank competition.
The competition.
We went for the Malta Startup Festival.
Right.
And obviously, we were hosting the startup. So basically, we had to discuss and make sure that we have our cohort within the competition. And obviously, Copianto came on top, and they were able to find investment for just that one trip. So
amazing.
imagine if we were really, really intentional.
Yeah.
And developing talent, making sure the young guys have the opportunity to find credible jobs, dignified jobs. I'll give you a story that really hit me so hard. I literally was in tears. Because of my busy schedule, I carry my laptop everywhere. And this laptop basically dropped. And the battery part of my ThinkPad basically had a little problem. So for 2 days, I'm struggling to swap. We have a laptop pool that we can swap from. But I had a lot of things on that laptop. So I wanted to fix that battery really quick. We went to a service center. The service center said, oh, that particular battery is not in stock. And I was about to travel, bro. Guess where I ended up?
Where?
Tiptoe Lane.
Oh boy. That's our Palo Alto.
Yeah, that's our Palo Alto. Tiptoe Lane is literally our Palo Alto.
Yeah.
So I do not want to. I actually say, you know what? I don't want my the office team to take this lap. I want to go myself.
Okay.
So in shorts and a hat and t-shirt, just down low,
Yeah.
Showed up in Tiptoe Lane, the Ghana Palo Alto.
That's right.
It's literally our Silicon Valley.
Yeah, that's it.
If you think about it, right? I mean, this ecosystem, these guys are fixing phones.
Yeah.
Young guys.
Yeah.
Some of them, I mean, the guy who fixed my laptop, he's not been to university. And he was sitting in the back of one of the ghettos, the corners.
Some small
Some
corner
small
somewhere.
corner got touched. People, they move up and down. And this guy was like, oh, sir, I'll sort you out. So I said, oh, how much is the battery? How would he know which one is compatible? So, oh, boss, we have you. We got you, man. We got you covered. We got you covered. This kid, within a matter of plus or minus 30 minutes, figured out what I needed. Lex, I'm sitting there. So he doesn't know who I was.
Right.
I'm sitting there with him. We're chit-chatting. They're talking. And I said, oh, how did you learn how to fix this laptop? Do you know what he said? Boss, me share me no so and that's how he learned how to fix the laptop.
No theory.
No theory. And he has no workbench, no nothing, no shop. He was just sitting on a little corner chair. I was sitting next to him. And it was almost like me taking a risk
Yeah.
to hand my work laptop because I was in need. Normally, the service center should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And that story stuck in my mind. We have more than 18 million mobile subscribers in Ghana. Maybe 20 million plus. Do you know when our phones break, the screens break, these young guys in Ghana can fix phone screens. They can swap motherboards.
Yeah.
They can do a lot, but there has not been an intentional focus to inspire them and create jobs for them. So the key word for me is in a dignified way.
Yeah.
In a dignified way. So that's something we would love to inspire to make it happen if we can, working with all partners who are interested.
Look, there are so many conversations around tech in Ghana. I'm actually just realizing even geopolitics plays a role in here.
Massively.
Because of
Massively.
what India is doing and all
Massively.
of that. But I don't even think that we have a policy, a geopolitical policy with regards to AI, tech, and whatnot. But I mean, we'll get into that a bit later as we get along. Because
At least you've named Tiptoe Lane as the new Palo Alto.
yes. I mean,
We need to put that
we need
down.
to etch that somewhere.
We need to edge it somewhere, man. We have to.
So, listen, if you're just joining in, I'm spending time with the CEO of BlueSPACE Africa Technologies, Mr. Samuel Amanor, and we'll get to know a bit more about him. I actually heard that next Monday
Yes.
at the Ghana CEO Summit,
Yes.
you're actually moderating one of the panels.
Hey, that panel is huge, man.
What's it about?
Okay, so I mean, the CEOs in Ghana are literally the economic shapers, right? If you think about it.
Yeah.
And the job of a CEO is very, very demanding. In the past, if you watch globally, people go to Davos once a year. You just had the Qatar Economic Forum. They just had the Africa CEO Summit or
Right.
Forum in Abidjan last week or so.
Yeah.
Now, we're almost ending the second quarter of the year, right? So the CEO Summit is basically a convening of the minds and the brains that are controlling the economy of Ghana to first of all, look the past year, what did we do right?
Yeah.
And looking ahead with all the different dynamics happening globally, what are the trends, what are the best practices that CEOs need to adopt in shaping their businesses, right? I was fortunate to be on a panel 2 days ago on the Ghana CIO Forum. So this is for chief information officers.
Right.
And whilst I was there, I mean, obviously everybody's talking about AI. They're talking about all the different things. I talked about customer satisfaction and branding, right? And people were like, how do you increase value? You know, how do you go beyond just, you know, supplying hardware and software? You know, how do you build value into
Yeah.
your business? Now, the CEOs are the ones creating these strategies in their boardrooms. So the CIOs needed to understand the language. But on Monday, the CEO forum is going to look at the economic issues facing their businesses,
Right.
the macroeconomic issues. You know, we're talking about the currency. That currency situation has really hurt people. The DDEP, the debt exchange that happened in the last few years.
Yeah.
What has been the impact to recover even after COVID?
Yeah.
You know, it's been what, 4 years or 5 years after COVID? What is the status of some of the businesses?
Yeah.
Those that couldn't, those that survived, right? And what new strategies do they put in place? Because AI is going to shift everything. It's the labor
Absolutely.
enabler, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to put a huge leverage. It's going to give people leverage. So how would CEOs be able to adopt that? So you have guys like Darlington coming to talk about those things.
Okay.
On my panel, you have basically SAP going to be there. We have Darlington on my panel as well. You have Estelle, who runs C Squared.
Akufio?
Akufio, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
that's the
great.
backbone of the internet.
Right.
You saw what happened when the internet got cut a few years ago. So these are the
Okay, good stuff.
economic shapers who are going to be there.
Let me say kudos to the CEO Network Ghana and, of course, the 9th Ghana CEO Summit. That's happening on Monday. So
That's correct.
my Chancellor, brother, and his DeGraft and his team, they're doing an amazing job. And we can't wait for that particular conversation as well. But let's get to meet you. Where did you grow up? Where are you from? Amanor. Ufihi.
You know, there was a guy on the panel. Yes, actually, he was moderating, Carl Saki.
Okay.
And Carl had an Amano as a middle name.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and so he mentioned his name on the panel, and right after his name, I was called to stage. So my name is from Odumase.
Odumase.
Yeah, so I'm a Krobo guy.
Ah.
Yeah, but obviously my dad is Krobo, my mom is Ga. From
What
Tesh-
languages do you speak?
Oh, Charlie. My tree is the. I'll say my tree is the worst. My Ga is amazing. Unfortunately, I don't speak the Krobo that well.
Okay.
I could hear it.
Right.
I could understand the words and try and translate.
Where did you grow up?
So my formative years, I was in Teshi. I went to school at the barracks, the field engineers school.
Your dad was in the military?
My grandfather
Okay.
actually was able to work a deal out because they own lands in those areas.
Okay.
And they managed to support. They gave us an allocation for some of the kids from our family
Okay.
to attend the barracks school. So there was a lot of discipline, field engineers,
Yeah.
the garrison school. It was really good. That led me to go to Kovodia, SecTech,
All right.
for the senior education. And then from there, I left for the U.S. Yes, to study computer science and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What kind of upbringing was it around the barracks? Was it the
Discipline was
the
paramount.
military,
Yeah. Discipline is
Yeah.
paramount. Very loving, structured educational system. Obviously, you
What
see.
were your parents themselves into?
So, my dad, I lost dad when I was 10.
Oh.
So it was just my mom, obviously, and when you're growing up, you live in basically a compound house. You
Yeah.
have auntie, uncle taking care of you.
Right.
We had that sort of setup, right? So that setup sort of allowed us to, build a community. And the elementary school I went to is called Tesco, and Tesco basically was fashioned around basically preparatory sort of school system. And the kids from that school, their parents were all neighbors, pretty much. So it allowed us to sort of have that community lifestyle. We had our own little soccer league going. We had our own little, church cohort, the Teshi Baptist Church at the time. So there was this community. And in Teshi Baptist, we also had Awana, which was basically a youth club to help you build discipline and godliness into your lifestyle. And so if you take the cluster of these three communities, the home community where it's a compound living, You're walking around barefoot, going to play soccer, no shoes on, and you had the field engineers sort of discipline going on. And then the Baptist Church Youth Club, they sort of instill a little, character into you, if you will. It also gives you, now that I'm looking back, I'm like, this was the best days ever. We had a group where we had our own bikes.
Ooh,
Saturdays we go on a bike ride together.
Yeah.
I remember days where, like, when it rains, we'll go chasing something called alokoto,
Right.
So it was a very exciting. We were not spending time, on devices back then. We were spending time with humans. We were spending time playing outside. We were spending time going to people's homes. That was fun. I love that.
It's interesting you mentioned that we're not spending time with. You're not spending time with devices now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're hinting at the shift, isn't it? Is there a shift now?
It's massive, man. It's. I think it's dangerous.
You think it's dangerous, huh?
Yeah, because, I mean, think about why people have kids. Why do people have children, right? It's to basically build the next generation of legacy, right? Is to make the planet a bit better. So humans have to spend time with humans and nature, but we don't have that sort of culture anymore. You read the Bible, God created this, God created that, but we don't spend time with the things God created.
Yeah.
We're spending time with what man created, which is really devices. Right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Artificial things.
Right. Cars
And devices, basically. So as AI gets really advanced and they can do all the things humans can do, the urgency will be to find time to build friendships, to have real companionship. Because the moment you tell people, hey, don't work anymore, they are like on holiday, some people are literally depressed. Because they don't have human relationships anymore. They don't have friendships anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's very dangerous, the path that maybe some of the kids are going, where they're glued to the devices.
The devices,
Yeah, because the interpersonal skills. I think I have a very good people skills, if you will, because I think I learned that when I was a kid.
Okay.
We talk to anyone, right? We're not shy of humans.
Right.
Humans are friends.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be huge. Now, obviously, in some parts of Ghana, people are they have gated communities, walls. Charlie, we didn't have walls.
No communal living now.
No communal living, Charlie.
Everybody's in a nuclear setting. Hardly do you see your extended family members.
Even your neighbors, you don't see.
Yeah. I mean, now everybody's on a WhatsApp group now. The family is on a WhatsApp group, so we're chatting every day on WhatsApp. We're not seeing them.
You can't replace that interpersonal skills, man.
Right.
I mean, like meeting people face to face. Presence is everything.
And I'm pretty sure for you who works with the devices, like on a daily, you crave that human.
I long for it. You should see me where I'm hanging out with people.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I want you.
Yeah, and it's even more dangerous, like you say, because I've read lots of reports about artificial intelligence and how fundamentally it will transform the global workforce, probably by 2050. Reports by PwC, the World Economic Forum, they will tell you that estimates are just about 60% of some of the jobs now will require significant adaptation due to AI.
Bro, it's serious. Let me just put it that way. Because if you look at the concept of labor, right, humans are repeating repetitive tasks. We used to think AI cannot replace artists or architects. But AI is doing everything. Literally everything. So if we could create a community of humans back again, intentional physical engagements. Obviously in our culture, church is very massive, right? But in the West, they don't go to church as much as we do on this side. So artificial intelligence is great. It's going to give us leverage, labor leverage. It's going to boost. Imagine, some of the administrative stuff you do here can be replaced by AI agents. And those young men and women who do those admin work, imagine if they're interfacing with your customers. the people that place brands, advertising
Yeah.
services, and they're spending real human-centered experiences, it could go a long way and change the dynamic between your business, and it can actually boost. So if we go back to human-centered everything, we could actually increase livelihoods, the happiness levels.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
depression can can reduce. Stress levels could go down.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes when you talk to people, you feel good.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if you're worried about the bill, the next bill, and you start spending time, somebody takes your mind off that, you could feel very good about yourself.
Absolutely.
So stress could be improved
Yeah.
by bringing that human-centered, workspace where people are actually engaging.
But I dare say that there's no way back now, is there?
It's urgent.
there's no way back now, because people like you are you keep innovating and trying to find ways to make sure these are repetitive jobs are easier done by the machines.
The machines are friends of ours, but we have to balance it.
You have to create
right?
a balance.
If you
absolutely.
make the machines paramount in your home, where your kids run to the machine, they don't play with you anymore. They don't talk to you anymore.
Now you're in the full-fledged tech field. When you were much younger, from Kofodia and whatnot, was that a place you wanted to be? Was that your main career aspiration?
Ooh, like in Africa, in Ghana specifically, there are 3 key job roles that all kids feel there's this sense of essence, right? This value that has been placed on these 3 roles: lawyer, doctor,
Engineer
and engineer.
or banker?
Or banker. That one we didn't hear that much.
We didn't
but
hear that
lawyer,
one.
doctor,
Engineer.
engineer. So if you come up with anything different, there's this internal voice that tells you, bro, you could do better.
Yeah.
Strive for something higher than what you're thinking.
Right.
Obviously those days you hear things like dondology and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know what jobs people, archaeologists. I want to be archaeologist or psychologist. I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Oh,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
I don't know. I just felt like, if I can't be the doctor,
I could work with him.
I can work with a doctor. It was because I'm like 80 years of school, man, that's a long time.
Right.
But what if I could be around that guy?
Yeah.
And I can, help him solve the problem he's diagnosed. I'm as equally important, So that was really the direction I was heading to. I was very good in chemistry in school.
Okay. You did science in school.
I did science,
Okay.
and at school, and I was not to blow my horn, but the first brilliant science and math quiz, I was one of the guys, man. So there was a lot of pressure.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and all the guys I was friends with, they are now doctors, and
Wow.
yeah, they are. I come from
You were
hospital.
one of the contestants.
Yeah. But I was like, in school I was there.
Okay,
I
then
was
you
up-
were a shark. Like
I mean, my
proper
wife
shark.
says I'm a nerd, but it's all good.
I see.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't win.
I mean, of
Yeah.
course. It was hard,
What happened? What happened?
my
Did
memory is
Presec-
not
did
working
Presec
like-
show up.
My memory's not working too well right now.
It will work. It will work.
We're close. But it's. I would say society influences what you want to become.
Okay.
Family does as well. But I feel the future labor force should be inspired by problems around us rather than the stereotype of mom said this or dad said this. And, I was joking earlier that, Ghana needs to have pride. We need to clean our gutters. We need to, make our communities nicer, the beach nicer, and we're so blessed, but we don't see it, and there are a lot of problems around us that if we're very capable of inventing these learning schemes, we could train people to solve it. And we're also not able to confidently show our ignorance of the things we don't know, right? We don't talk about the things we don't know too well. We sort of gloss over them. And I think if we start solving problems around us, so create curriculums to solve problems that are very common to us. Because I think you have the extreme ends in Ghana. You have guys who have the PhDs and they can tell you the philosophy and the genesis of all these problems, but we are not able to sort of co-create with community these small. I mean, some people are doing a great job. I mean, if you look at what Ashesi has done,
Right.
it's amazing. It's remarkable, right? So that's somebody I sort of salute, you know. If you look at, I won't say Nkrumah did, I mean, he was the first guy to salute. If you look at, you know, what other innovation hubs are doing, trying to come up with alternative ways of solving the common problems around us, I think a lot of the young people will find it, you know, they'll find those jobs a bit more dignified than the doctor, lawyer, engineer
Yeah.
route. And I think that's what India did to sort of elevate their sort of STEM and math and science to another level and create all these diversity in the IT communities.
And now the tech space offers so many opportunities.
It's huge.
A lot of businesses are adopting the transformation. You are helping lots of, especially the banks, you know, get on board the digital platforms and creating tools to help them operate and what.
I mean, I'll give you an example. Obviously, you know, before getting to this whole fintech thing, I had come back. I saw Ghana had oil. This is the place to, Charlie, can make some money. So I told my boss at a company called EMC. EMC was basically the largest data management company in the world at the time,
Okay.
right? Billions of dollars.
And this was when?
2010.
Okay.
Right. So I was working with them in the States. And obviously I read, you know, Ghana's discovered oil, is going to produce, blah, blah, blah. And Talo was our first customer, right, when we came. And I came as the CEO for the company, you know, country manager, blah, blah, blah. But as I was going around, we sold the technology to telcos. We sold it to governments.
What was the technology? Pardon me.
So it's data management, storage
management.
systems.
Okay, cool.
Right. So the information management, how you store the information, how you keep it, how you make sure it's continuously available for use.
Okay.
And I mean, that's basically the lifeline of information technology.
Right.
Right. It's the most critical part of information technology. So anyway, the company grew. You know, we made our numbers. I got promoted. Took over the emerging markets, about 30 countries. It was really fun. I was traveling. It was a nice lifestyle, you know. But along the way, Dell came along and said, you know what, I want to acquire this technology. So Dell bought it, $67 billion.
Wow.
So basically, the whole global setup changed. And said, okay, well, you have to move back to Dubai. I'm like, maybe not. I love Ghana too much. So that's when I saw the demand for how financial institutions could adapt information management to the day-to-day operations. And at the same time, the cloud was emerging.
Right.
Where the cloud really is basically data centers.
Yeah.
The housing of this information management systems.
Amazon.
Microsoft Azure, Google. You know, when you type your email,
Right.
the information is stored somewhere for you in the cloud. So I saw that idea as the emerging idea. But Africa was way behind because to do that, you need good electricity, you need good networks, you need good talent to manage that infrastructure. So basically, I said, you know what? Maybe this is when I can also contribute. So that's where the idea of BlueSPACE came from, to take information to the cloud
Okay.
and manage it. And one of the brands that really bought into the vision was EcoBank Group. When we started, they were migrating their data from London, and they wanted to consolidate. They have 35 countries. So basically, we started pitching to them. They believed in it. Was amazing opportunity for me. So basically, I'll say EcoBank really funded the beginning of BlueSPACE, if I can say that. Kudos to them for believing.
Yeah.
And we've been in partnership since. We're still trying to find ways to work together. Then came Capital Bank, there came GCNet. You know, some of them have folded up, but there are a lot of opportunities. And I think the journey is yet to start because now the maturity curve is very high.
Okay.
People believe in information management. It's a practice. You have chief information security officers. You have database analysts, people who manage the relational databases.
Yeah.
You have these startups building wonderful technologies that rely on these cloud infrastructures. Because without that, right, you can't do anything.
You can't do much.
Our government is investing a lot in information management. If you look at some of the grants we're getting from the World Bank, it's all to digitize because
Yeah.
what happens, I think it was GRA or something, they had some fire in one of the buildings and lost quite a bit. So information management in the cloud is safe,
Yeah.
right? Because you're more resilient than having something onshore when there is fire,
And it's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
So that sort of is the emerging area that we think African, businesses have to
I see
sort of
you
look
use
at.
the word emerging a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, in the global sense of it, Ghana is still behind. Many parts of Africa. Still
I'll give
behind.
Ghana kudos.
You think so?
Yeah. Ghana has managed to attract the likes of Google, AI research here, right? So Google is here. I think next week we'll have an event with them. So Ghana has done well. Ghana also has one of the largest internet exchanges. We work with a company called PAX. They built, a nice data center here. We're going to be doing some work with them as well. And ethics, they have their data center tier 4 as well. These guys have done well. We have room for improvement, but Ghana has done well. Ghana understands that technology must be part of the equation.
You think the businesses are also catching on to it?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they are
Business. The banks here are
transforming?
doing fantastic.
Yeah.
The government is trying their best. I give kudos to the government. They are all doing very well. What is lacking though is investment.
Okay.
Right? I think the fundamental value of technology in business is very clear. Everybody gets that. Now, what we don't have is we don't have enough capital to grow that business. So more people will build things because everything we do in tech, we're importing, right? So if the dollar goes up, then you feel the pinch,
Okay.
right? So if we can balance that equation a bit more, if you look at the banks, most of the things they do are imported. They import the software, they import the hardware, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
Right? So if we can, and this applies to Africa. So in the grand scheme of things, Ghana, if you're comparing Ghana and the globe, yeah, maybe we're not too far. We're not anywhere in the 100.
Yeah.
But if you look at Ghana from an Africa perspective, what we're doing the mobile money side is really, we're number one up there. If you look at what Ghana is doing, cybersecurity, we're like number one or number two, right? If you look at what we're doing in terms of talent training, well, maybe not too well. We could do better, right? But Ghana is doing okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Ghana
Now,
is doing okay.
So since, let's say, 15 years ago, since you represented the company here, now transformed to BlueSPACE, and running your own business now you have a branch in Dubai,
Yeah.
like UAE, right, and all of that. Tell me, what's been the biggest challenge with your business?
Ooh, talent.
Still talent.
Yeah. Because you have a lot of great ideas always, right? I even get accused for that. I have too many ideas. The challenge is funding and talent, right? Because if you have in the government space or in the tech space in Ghana, it's whom you know, right? So you can have great solutions, you can have good ideas, but the relationship management between the guy who buy the technology from you, the culture is very different. Whereas in the West, the best wins. There's an element of who you know there. You can see what's happening with Trump and the cohorts around him and all that. It happens everywhere. But talent and capital remains one of the most challenging barriers for growth, right? Because we want to be a unicorn out of Ghana. We don't have a unicorn yet. We hope we could be the first unicorn.
We don't even have a unicorn in Africa, do we?
Oh, we have quite a number.
Oh, we have?
Nigeria,
Okay,
and
well,
Egypt, and South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, we have. Nigeria has represented really well. South Africa has done well.
Okay.
Egypt is doing very well now. But Ghana needs to step up in our adoption of tech and funding so that we can rise to the occasion.
And you'd say that the gap, especially with talent, is because of our educational system.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bank of America is hiring talent from Ashesi to train them, put them in London to work. So that reskilling is cost. So without that capital, you can't really reskill people. If you ask the HR guys in most of the companies, if you look at the budget allocated for talent development, it's a make or break. If you're looking for a good chief information officer, and you say, let's name the best chief information officer in Ghana, or the best AI person in banking in Ghana, it's hard to pinpoint, right? They are there, marginally there, but you can't find the best of the best.
Okay.
So there's room for improvement in that area for talent. I would also say regulation, right, has been stepping up a bit. I think the government is doing a very good job to make sure that people have cover. And so the Cybersecurity Authority has done a fantastic job. They have, schemes, and Data Protection Authority.
Yeah.
They are doing things to help people see the awareness that the moment you digitize, you're going to have enemies. These are your cyber hackers and all of those things. So Ghana is stepping up to balance the equation. Fraud is still relevant in our culture because if you don't have money, you have to find the money somewhere. So the Sakawa guys, they're doing their best to find vulnerabilities in people's systems. So talent capital has a lot of sort of connection to growth within the technology sector.
What's the biggest lesson this journey you've been on has taught you?
You have to be patient and resilient, right? I mean, working for somebody is easy. You get, whether you do the job or not, you get paid at the end of the month, right? The moment you want to solve problems and you are the same person funding the engine to solve that problem, and you have to be resilient because decision making in Ghana takes too long. From when the board decides we're going to do this to when they actually do it, because there are gaps in the way, the confidence level, right? The fear of risk would deter people from making abrupt decision.
Right.
But if the knowledge gaps are filled, the talent capacity is there, decisions will be swifter, right? But because of second guessing, a lot of top people second guess themselves because they don't have the right technical capacity or the know-how necessarily. So the decision making takes time, which means what you want to solve or what you want to do will take time as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
What it means then is your month-on-month cash flow will struggle, right? Which means if you're looking for a client, a customer, from the time you pitch your first solution to the time they say, yes, I do, I'll give you the business, it will take some time. So as an entrepreneur, you have to plan and have resilience and patience in your design. If you don't factor it and you have the weirdest idea, because you know everything, because you're smart, before you have the solutions and decisions will be made immediately. No.
It doesn't work that way.
No. And your shareholders, if you have shareholders, they have to also be patient.
Yeah.
Because things take time in Ghana. Africa, I'm sure every culture is different in Africa, but Ghana, things take time. In Nigeria, it's different.
Yeah.
Very quick, hush, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. I mean, as we wrap up, I would want you to, I know you are passionate about mentorship. You have a lot of startups that you help. As we wrap up, I would want you to just give them a word of advice. Anything that
you can never go wrong with mentorship, right? And I think we have, if you go to an event, you see a bunch of young guys. Hey, can I have your number? Can I have your number? Can I have your number? It's nice, right? But it's also dangerous because now information access is very ubiquitous, right? The internet has made it very easy for people to learn. YouTube, blah blah blah. what I think a lot of the young people struggle with is compliance and access to decision makers. But in terms of technical know-how, I think they're very savvy. Ghana has great potential. What I would advise is not to be too quick to make the money.
Okay.
Right? That rush to make the money is dangerous. Right? So it's forcing people to come up with all kinds of schemes and scams, and I think that patience is necessary. It's a virtue, right? That's why.
Yeah, it is.
So we have to instill that in the young people. That I mean, you get the money, you buy a house. You get the money, you buy a nice car, right? That's really what the money is going for. I've not heard most young people say, "I get the money, I help somebody else." It's not common. So I want to advise the young people to be patient, to be resilient, to be humble. I think and integrity is also key, right?
Yeah.
To have integrity in what you do, because Charlie, Accra is small, the world is small. It's become a village,
Look, Sam, it's been a great conversation. I've enjoyed having this with you. I wish you could go on and on because I'm sure there's a lot that we could talk about, but we're out of time now. A little bit told me that you're one of the most fun people in the world.
Hey!
You had a lot of fun in the US as well.
Hey, okay, no comments.
I'm just getting US files right
Hey!
now on my phone. I'm getting a lot of data.
Yay!
They're transmitting the US data right now.
Wow. These
I
are
can't
the
put it out there.
classifieds. The classifieds.
Well, what do you do for fun though?
Ooh, hanging out with humans.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's number one.
Yeah.
Anywhere. It could be a church. It could be a fun place.
Yeah.
I like humans. I like human beings. I like to pick brains on what they're doing. Number two, I like sports. I like tennis. I haven't played in a while.
Well, you better get your rackets
I
because
need to get my.
I play a lot.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Yeah, we should.
No,
you're not ready. You haven't played in a while, bro.
Well, 6 months, maybe. My wife said 6 months. Let's say.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
you're still getting.
I'm checking out
6-0.
paddle though. Paddle tennis, it's not bad.
No, not yet.
No.
I mean, tennis
Paddle
still
is
remains
looking
supreme.
more attractive to me. So.
Paddle, pickleball, all those. No. Tennis
Tennis is it. Yeah. So that and traveling is also fun.
Okay, great.
Seeing new places, new people.
We should play a game of tennis soon.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I
Body
promise
Beach.
to win.
I'll give you that honor.
But great talking to you, Sam.
Pleasure, man. This has been great. You guys are doing something amazing.
Thank you.
Getting the story out.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Yeah. We're excited about it. Sam Amanor, CEO of BlueSPACE, Africa Technologies, BlueSPACE Financial Cloud, and BlueSPACE Innovation Hub on Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. If you missed any part of this conversation, you can get onto our Facebook page. The video's there. You can check it out, and you learn a thing or two from this amazing brother. And kudos to the team at the Ghana CEO Summit, the CEO Network Ghana as well. On Monday, it's happening at Accra International Conference Center. I'm Lexis Bill. Thanks a lot for spending time with us. Enjoy your evening. I'll be back on your radio at 3 o'clock tomorrow. It's 8 o'clock. We'll find out what's happening in news now.